Make sure you watch this video till the end if everything you try keeps failing.
So here are 4 ways to handle rejection, not emotionally, but strategically. Number 1 is to detach your identity from the outcome. When something or someone says no, it is not a definition of your worth. It is a reflection of either timing, alignment, or relevance. World-renowned author J.K. Rowling was rejected by 12 publishers before Harry Potter was finally accepted. Imagine if she had taken that first rejection as identity instead of feedback.
Instead of feedback. This is the problem. A lot of time when we fail at something, especially when we have failed over and over and over at that particular thing, we take it as identity. You accept that, oh, I am a failure. Oh, I'm not good at this thing. Now, for example, from childhood, growing up in school, I have always failed. For those of you who are Nigerians, you understand what it means to have red pen consistently on your result sheets. That was me. I literally always had red pen all over. You see the ink everywhere, blood. And every single time that affected my self-esteem. I've always seen myself like, you are a failure. Oh, school is not for you. Even when I got to the higher institution, it affected me badly. I look at myself and I call myself a failure. I look at other people and I see them as better than I am. Why? Because I had failed at school over and over and over again. Now it had affected the way I perceived myself. This is how every single one of us behave, especially when we are not taught that failure is not identity. You need to look at that particular thing you failed at as feedback. Oh, looking at this thing right now, I failed at this because of this. Most of the time, we are not giving the room to think about why we failed. Most of the time, people will only focus on you failed, but why? People don't give you the room to process that thought, especially as a child. And so that begins to create a pattern over time, and that affected me a lot. But recently, I started looking at it. No, it's not like I'm not intelligent. It's not like I'm not smart. I'm really intelligent, but I failed at school because I started perceiving myself as a failure when I was supposed to be taking all that had happened as feedback.
Number 2 is to reflect, don't ruminate. Instead of sitting in endless loops of why me, ask better questions. What did this rejection reveal? What skill can I improve on? What assumptions should I revisit? Rejection is one of life's most honest mirror if you dare to look without flinching.
You must understand that rejection is life's honest mirror. When you fail at something, it's actually reflecting to you areas of your life that needs to be improved on. Maybe you lack certain skills. Maybe you lack certain character. There are certain things that you do not have. And if you can improve on those things, you will get better results. It's not that you are a failure. It is that you need to process all that you are going through, all the things that you have tried to attempt that have failed, and then you take whatever you get from it as feedback that you can use to improve yourself.
Number 3 is re-strategize, don't retreat. When a door closes, build a better door or find a window. Sometimes the answer isn't to stop, it is to tweak your approach. A no to your presentation might be a yes if you build more credibility. A not now in a relationship may become a yes once maturity meets timing. Great innovators, from Thomas Edison to Colonel Sanders, faced hundreds of rejections. What kept them going wasn't ego, it was clarity. They believed in what they carried. Rejection doesn't cancel your calling, it clarifies your process.
That part where he talked about relationships hit me really deep. Where he talked about the fact that relationship that did not work doesn't mean that relationship will not work at all. That relationship just have to meet with maturity. When maturity meets with the right timing, it starts to work. So sometimes you do not have the maturity that is needed to sustain that thing. Sometimes the other party does not have the maturity that is needed to sustain it. Even in business, it's the same thing. You do not have the maturity needed to sustain that business or to make that business work. That is the reason why most of the time these things don't work. You have to understand that you need to re-strategize. Sometimes re-strategizing is what you need to do. All right, build your character, build your credibility, build more results, become the person that can make that result happen easily. I always say one of the questions that you must always ask yourself whenever you are trying to do something or whenever you want to attempt to do something, ask yourself, the person that makes this kind of thing work, how does this kind of person behave? How does this kind of person talk? How does this kind of person think? How does this kind of person dress? Where does this kind of person go to? Answer this these questions. Think about these things critically. If you don't have them, start imbibing them into your life. Start implementing them in your own life. And you will see that the moment you start becoming the person that can get the result will naturally come to you. Most of the times we are always chasing after result when we are supposed to be chasing after becoming the person that gets the result.
Number 4, use rejection as redirection. Some rejections are not wounds. They are walls placed by God to redirect you to better terrain. Not every opportunity you want is the one you need. Some no's are really protection from hidden consequences. Look back on your life. How many things that once broke your heart now makes the perfect sense to you? Proverbs 19 chapter 21 says, many are the plans in a man's heart, but it is the Lord's purpose that prevails. That means rejection can be the language of divine rerouting. So rejection is part of the journey, not a sentence to failure. So handle it with wisdom, and it becomes one of the greatest teachers you will ever have. So have you ever faced a rejection that later turned out to be a blessing? Drop it in the comment. You might just encourage someone. And don't forget to like, share, and follow for more grounded, life-shaping insights.